Welcome back to another episode of 22 at the Lips. I am your podcast host, Alexis Stout, and this is the podcast from EMS providers such as myself and other EMS providers I have on the podcast. Two EMS providers, healthcare workers, whether you're in this field, whether you're not, or if you are the average everyday bystander who just so happened to stumble upon this journey, welcome and thanks for being here. I have met, as I've had on the podcast so many times, I have met some really awesome people in this journey. And it's been a long journey for me. I know it's been even longer for other people, but part of this journey was going through paramedic school. And I have talked endlessly about it. I will always talk about it because it was such a fever dream. And oh man, baptism by fire hose. But one of the people I have met through that is Cody Rochelle. I'm probably butchering your last name, my man. How do you say your last name?
You got it. It's Rachel.
Rochelle. Cody is from the dirty south of Louisiana. He's more Cajun than me. His fiance is more Cajun than I could ever plan to be. We were talking about sauce pecan for the podcast air, but Cody's a really cool guy. We met before we started paramedic school together. We joined paramedic school and endeavored it together. We took registry and we have been on this journey. I check in with my guy because Cody's one of the good ones. But if you want to hear about it from himself, I'll let him kind of introduce himself. Cody, if you want to tell the people who you are and what you stand for, floor is yours, my guy.
Hi, my name's Cody Rachel. Here in Central Louisiana. I started in EMS in 2016, I believe. Before that, I went to LPN school. I was working at the hospitals. Really enjoyed it. Just didn't enjoy the hospital hierarchy. Somehow I had a friend that got me into EMS. She started me with the company that I work with. I started off in a dispatch at first. I did that for 3 years. Then I did 2 years of like IT and scheduling. And then from that point, I was just like, let me try this truck stuff. So I got my EMT. Then a year later, I was like, let me try this paramedic stuff. So here we are.
It's like flavors of ice cream. Let me try them all.
Yeah.
Actually, we're going to talk about it later because he also is trying the flavor of dispatch. So if you want somebody who's been in all of it, quite literally, hit up your boy Cody. Man, LPN. What a time.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I had some great experiences but met some doctors and stuff that was just, what am I doing? I have to run to a doctor every time for questions or for permission to do something. I was like, okay, that's EMS thing. Like, you don't have to really do all that. So let me see what this is.
And Cody went into the route of let me ask for permission instead of what is it? Let me ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
Exactly. Yep. Rat on myself. Hey, boss, I did this. Just so you know.
The dreaded call to the supervisor. Hey, how's it going? Oh, that's great. So I did a thing. Cody, I want the listeners to get to know you a little bit better. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about yourself before we get into the nitty-gritty of the conversation. Okay. Number one, and I think it's very important, what is your favorite color?
I'm real big on earth tones. So like grays, blues, browns, greens, anything like that. As you can see. Yeah, I've always been a huge fan of anatomy and like biology. So I love all the stuff you see now that's real popular, like the anatomy with like the floral and stuff like that, like the tattoos and the pictures and stuff. I don't know, just
very good. Very aesthetically pleasing colors, calming colors.
Yes.
If you could travel to any place in the world, where are you going and why?
As much as I hate my self-diagnosed agoraphobia, I would love to go to Tokyo. Like, I love anime. Sounds so cliche, but just the culture is so beautiful. I would just love to go. And so, but yeah, Tokyo. I would definitely like to go to Tokyo one day. And so,
They're super like technology advanced, aren't they?
oh yeah, yeah.
They
And
have
so,
those robot waiters and waitresses, or however you wanna address them. I don't know, that kinda scares me.
oh really?
Yeah, like I am all for the people interaction as much as I'm just not a fan of people most days. I gotta have somebody coming and talking to me. Like if there's a little robot that comes up, I'm not gonna take the food because what did you put in it? How are you trying to take over this entire restaurant? And then I'm next.
Oh.
I watched iRobot way too young. That movie with Will Smith.
No, I think it would be great. I would love to go to one little hole in the ramen shops and like get my ramen and then
Ooh.
walk around town. I think it would be great.
Is Japan where they're gonna have pho? Pho, however
I,
it's pronounced.
I believe so. I mean, I'm sure. So, honestly, I don't know.
I'm not as culturally diverse as I should be, so I have no clue. I just know what is good food and what's not.
Yeah.
I also have hot dogs as my favorite food, so I'm probably not the person to ask.
I love the good glizzy.
I know a glizzy hate to see me coming. All right, so I don't know how you feel about this. I feel like paramedic school, I mean, like, granted, yes, because we learned a lot, but it really shaped who I became as a provider. And I feel like 50% of that I attribute to our instructor because Ashley was, and I'm not saying this because she might listen one day. Like, I would say it, I have said it to her face, and I would say it not to her face. She was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Granted, I'll never forget. Do you remember when we were doing, I think it was PHTLS, and we had those big like MCI scenarios? There was one where she put us in like a carnival setup, and she was like, there's an active shooter. Go find your patients and treat them. And I was like, but Ashley, there's a shooter there. And she's like, it doesn't
It doesn't
matter.
matter
Go find your
what your
patients.
Yeah. Sorry. There's a train going by. Perfect.
what
Sorry.
what station was it that had that train right by the station?
Port
Was
Barry.
that Port Barry and was it Leesville?
Oh yeah, Leesville has one too. Yeah.
Dude, I knew there was one shift. I worked a few, very few shifts out there because the people are just made different. I don't know what's in the Kool-Aid in Leesville, but it's kind of scary. Mm, I worked one shift there and like I saw the train tracks. You can't miss them by the station. I forgot the train existed. So 3 o'clock in the morning, that train was blaring by the room, and I screamed so loud. I said, "I'm never coming back here again. You will not catch me at this station. I can't do this." Um. Anyways, so yeah, PH Taylor's with Ashley was phenomenal and terrifying. Anyways, there was so much about paramedic school and like because of our instructor, because of the program, et cetera, et cetera. There was a lot of good stuff about it. What was your favorite part of paramedic school? If you can narrow it down to one thing, what would it be?
I think it was just the way the course went through itself. Like it was so hands on, and we were all working on actual trucks at the time that we were going through paramedic school. That's what I really enjoyed because we were reading about coronaries, and then next thing you know, like you get one on the truck, and you're like, oh, oh, look,
There it is.
yeah, I read about this. Instead of being in college for 4 years, reading about it, thinking about it, and then just going for your job and like learning that, like, yeah. And so I think having everything hands on was definitely good for me. I don't know if it was just my little tism speaking or what, but it was, I loved it.
I was always scared learning about the halo sign and how like it's I mean, granted, I've never seen it in the field, but like the idea of like, oh look, that's cerebral spinal fluid coming out of their ear and it looks like a halo on the 4x4. That's so cool. I was always scared to actually find it in the field because like we can't fix that. There's nothing to do about it. So you
Mhm.
just know their brain parts are leaking out of their ears. And it's just something for you to put into your pocket of like, oh, now I know.
As if they're not starting to posture already.
Sir, are you okay? Um
Nope.
oh no, that's not good.
Yeah.
Somebody should do something. What is something that, and granted, we learned so much in paramedic. There is so much, and like I've forgotten a lot of it, but there is so much from paramedic school that we learn, and so much that we learn to identify and come up with differential diagnoses and starting connecting all the body systems and blah 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 medications and med math. What is something that you have carried from paramedic school that you still use on your shifts to this day?
Um, all of that plus the thought to do it with compassion has been a big thing for me. I remember Ashley was really strict on, yeah, you got to know the med math, but if you're not going to go out there and be compassionate to your patients for every call, then why are you going out there? Um, I get that. I get that a lot. And I could see it in myself that I was starting to get burned out. And so I was like, okay, we got to get some changes going here. We got to get something going because there's no use for someone to call for help and then get someone there with like just a piss poor attitude. And, just it's going to just spiral from there. And then another thing I was thinking of that I physically have from P school that I still carry around with me is the field pocket guide. Every shift I go to, I never have taken it out on a call, but I still have my field pocket guide from P school. If I ever needed to, it stays in my backpack. It has never left it.
but you have it.
Yes, it's my safety blanket. It's the same one I had from P school.
um Man, it is so hard. This field, like the calls we go on, not always, but like sometimes they're hard. And I feel like the hardest thing is not so much like the gore and trauma and nasty things we see on shift. It is having a a positive attitude and having compassion.
Yeah.
One thing that I've learned is, and I used it whenever I got a call at 5:38 this morning, knowing that my relief was only 5 minutes away. And I was tired and I just wanted to go home. One thing I've learned is that if I get all of my anger out before the call, I can be very nice. So my supervisor actually got to get a glimpse of it whenever we were going back to the ambulance, and I was laughing very angrily and saying, "This is just it. You know what? I deserve this, I guess." And then I get back to the station and I'm smiling and I'm telling everybody good morning. Uh but no, it's especially if I've kind of learned to realize the call is either nothing, could be something, or it's like every hand on deck, something something. There are three categories, and 90% of our calls fall into either it's nothing or it's kind of something. But it is so hard whenever you're going back to back for these calls and you know that they don't need an ambulance and the ER may not even do anything for them.
Mhm.
This is what you constitute as an emergency. You call 911 for this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, having, like you said, nobody deserves somebody. When you call 911, nobody deserves somebody that's going to show up with a piss poor attitude because, like, at the end of the day, what are you gaining from being mean to this person? What are you gaining from having a terrible attitude?
Right.
Ashley said one time she was talking about compassion and being a good provider outside of knowing every cardiac rhythm, knowing every drug we carry, blah blah blah. but it's the ability to be nice. And when you can't, close your mouth. And I have carried that with me because when I close my big mouth, it's easier to be nicer.
Yes. I have the write-ups from the nursing home to prove it. Yeah.
I've learned a magic phrase for the nursing homes whenever, like, recently we're wheeling our patient out and the patient, it's not my place to say they shouldn't have called 911, but like, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
The nursing home didn't know. Literally, we're wheeling this patient out, and the nurse at the front desk and my patient are about to have a knockdown drag out. And I just looked up and I was like, hey, this is an emergency, time to go. And we just kept wheeling her on out. I have learned that phrase and I have carried it with me to every nursing home. Hey, do you have any paperwork on this patient? That's not my patient. Hey, this is an emergency. It's time to go.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of having compassion fatigue and when it gets hard to be nice, how do you balance work and life and how do you decompress? Because we talked about off the air, like you used to do 48s, which, oh God, you brave man.
Yeah.
How do you balance just what we deal with on a shift versus when you go home, you take your uniform off and you're just Cody again? Where's your
Yeah.
balance for that?
Sounds cliche, but I remember in school reading like they're like you need to have a balanced diet, you need to do physical fitness, you need some type of spiritual thing. And I was like, whatever, I just need Red Bull and water and I'll be I don't need any of this other stuff. Um, but I've learned that having a good diet, uh, having a good diet, getting a good sleep schedule, getting some type of physical activity in really does help your overall mood and morale too, and helps your body feel better. And we, sorry, we do
No,
need
you're good.
some type of spiritual connection going on, whether it's Christianity, whether it's just you and Mother Nature, or Buddhist, any type of religion. You just need some type of something, I don't know, in your life. And I used to think that was so cliche. I'm like, you don't need any of that. If I can't see it, it doesn't bother me, or it's not there. I was raised very Pentecostal and has a lot of religious trauma from that. So I just recently, when I met my fiance, he started going to an Episcopalian church. And I was like, okay, good for you. And then I slowly started attending, and then I just met these people, and they're just some good people, and they're not trying to shove anything down your throat. No certain group of people are better than the other. They're just good people, and they believe in helping the community around them. And that's something I can get behind. I don't really call myself an Episcopalian by any means, or really a Christian, but that's just helping people and giving back to your community. That's I feel like what I'm here. Well, that's what I'm meant to do while I'm here. So,
I think it matters whenever the heart of whatever group you affiliate with, whenever they're actually doing it for the right reasons and they're doing it to actually help people versus you put a name on a church door and you attend that and that's what you are and you identify with outside of like what's your community outreach look like, you know?
right.
Um no, I think that's a good point. It's
So yeah,
when we have those calls that are hard or just like the getting through the mud and grime of this job, whatever it is, um I don't know, like I can always tell whenever I'm getting a little low and we have little Meemaw who's just calling for whatever it is, back pain she's had for the past year, whatever it is. Just a simple thank you or a simple little like, you ladies are so nice. gives me hope. And I think that's something that gets sucked out of us from this job. And it's important to fill yourself back in with is hope, because this job sucks it out of you and you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yep.
You have to fill yourself, whether that's with the people you surround yourself with, whether that's doing something to decompress. And I call it photosynthesizing. Before shifts, I go outside with my dogs and I sit in the sun, and like a plant, I just photosynthesize.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I refresh myself. A little bit of sunlight, vitamin D. We don't
Yep.
have a lot of sun in Michigan. So when it's out there, I feel like a creature emerging from a cave, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
There's too much light. I think it's also important. And again, congrats on the engagement. I am so happy you found somebody who makes you happy.
Thank you.
I've always wanted that for you, but it's important to have people in our corner as well. And I think it's also important to have people that aren't in this job to support us as well.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt that your fiance is a social worker, so I get to come home and block everything to him. And he just listens. It's great.
What's it like to have free therapy?
Yes.
Some of us have to pay for it, Cody. Must be nice.
Yep. It's very nice.
Do you ever feel like you're able to also, since your fiance is a social worker, like kind of relate to them and they're able to as well unload a little bit to you? Because I mean, in a way, we both are in the same field of mental health.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We definitely unload on each other, and it works because he works at a 28-day program. So he's getting people in their first few hours of sobriety. And so I have a lot more compassion now when I run those type of calls, just from being around him and hearing his stories. I'm just like, okay, when was the last time you used? Let's get you somewhere safe. Let's get you some medicine. And so I don't know. It's helped a lot. So yeah, we come out to each other, we hash it out, we talk about our day, and it definitely helps having someone that you can just do that with. Yeah. So
That is beautiful.
other than that, I know I had also considered like is it BetterHelp or Help Me, or like the online counseling and stuff like that.
Heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend that to anyone that works in EMS. Just have someone that you can talk to. If you don't feel comfortable talking to someone that get someone. You need that outlet in some kind of way. So
We heavily support therapy on this podcast. I'm actually in the process of going back to therapy because I was in Louisiana and then we moved, and I'm like, I'm good. I fixed myself. And then I had a call and I was like, I'm not good. I am broken again. Oh no, is this what regression is? Help.
Resilience.
Ooh, no, we support everything positive mental health and therapy on this podcast, and I do as well. What would you say is your favorite type of call? We have so many. We have respiratory, cardiac, traumas, psychiatric, geriatric. What is your favorite type and why?
I love me a good trauma call. Recs are probably my least favorite call to work, except some of them can be so much fun. You get to do so much stuff. So trauma is sort of fun for me. The one that actually, I don't know, it feels weird to admit it, but the one that is sort of like my favorite is diabetics. I love running into a house, Meemaw's passed out, everyone's freaking out. I start a little IV and give her just a bump. 250, and she perks up, and everyone's like, "Oh, thank Jesus!" And they're like, "It's a miracle." I was like, "Uh-huh." I was like, "Come on, we got to go to the hospital now."
My name's Cody, not Jesus, but you're welcome.
I'm like, "Well, I helped, but yeah." I know. But yeah, a good old diabetic call. They just make you feel good, make you feel like you did something. So I think they're fun.
I like them because it's so rare that like we do an intervention and we see immediate results from it. It's always like, all right, we'll start some fluids. Oh, your blood pressure's up a little bit more. Yay.
Yeah.
All right, we're at the ER. Good overdose because you can give the Narcan and just see it immediately. But I love the diabetic calls as well. I love just, especially like, it doesn't take much to figure out they have a history of diabetes. We check a sugar. Oh, it's low. We
Mm,
give our little bit of magic juice and they're better. And they're always 9 times out of 10, they don't even want to go. And I'm fine with it. Let's fix a sandwich and call it a day.
exactly. Let's save that hospital room. Yeah. Just don't tell my supervisor that, because
Your secret's safe.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I do you have a favorite population of people? I love geriatrics. That is my heartbeat. Over the age of, I don't know, like 70, I already get a little soft spot for them. I
Oh,
love them.
I don't know. I don't think I really have a certain age group or anything like that, or a certain population. So
That's fair.
yeah.
Tell me, speaking of calls, tell me about a crazy call or one that made you laugh for any reason or something that has stuck with you. And we run a lot and it's easier to forget them. I randomly remembered one where this lady told me she birthed a baby from her leg and I can't get that out of my head anymore.
Okay.
Oh yeah. What tell me about a call, Cody.
Uh, so I think the worst call for me that I've been on are like the abuse calls and stuff like that. And it's nothing major you can do. It's usually a silent connection you make with the patient. And I'm just like, especially when they're like an adolescent or something, I'm just like, oh baby, I just got to get you out of this house. And like they're just so thankful to be out of that house and that something's about to happen. They don't know what's going to happen, but those really bother me more than codes or anything like that. Um, I worked a few special need codes or whatever, and those are really tough to get through those, especially with the family and all that. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, one of the craziest calls I ever had was in good old Arnaville.
Oh
Um,
God.
we get a call for like shortness of breath, chest pains. And so at the time, I was just an EMT. And so we get there, we do a little assessment, we get the guy on the stretcher, and then I go and I start to do a head to toe because I was learning. And so my paramedic was going to let me do it. So I start cutting off clothes and putting on 12 lead and everything. And I take off the shirt. And my patient is this male patient, upper 60s or whatever, not very well off hygienically.
Mm.
Um, I go to take off his shirt and I see a little white and lace, and I'm like, what is
No.
this? Oh, okay. He's got on a bra. I was like, okay, no big deal. I'm just going to put on my stickers. And then I did the upper body. And then, okay, I was like, okay, I got to get to your legs. And so I feel the legs. I don't feel nothing. I was like, I'm going to raise your pants leg up and put some stickers on you. Pull up the pants leg, and it's got pantyhose. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I need to get. So I did not get the whole story because I literally set him up for my paramedic partner, and then I went and moved up front. But yeah, like us almost 70-year-old tranny in Arnaville, Louisiana.
Out of all the places, would never expect.
Yeah, and so of course on the way there, I'm like blaring the Ritz of Mariah Carey on the radio to like my partner. So yeah, that was probably the funniest call. We laughed and laughed so hard, and so
Dude, I we get sucked into the monotony of like, okay, it's another call, it's another test mate, whatever. but people will find the wildest ways to surprise you. And
Oh,
like how do you keep your composure? Because like as serious and professional as I can be, I am a human being and I have limits.
mhm. And just a little backstory. It was a completely domestic situation. And so he said he had chest pains and fell out to cause a scene at the residence. So that's what happened. Being at important as well. And then he forgot to, he had all this undergarments on when we
Oh
were taking
my God.
and so yeah, that that was definitely one I remember.
We support anybody and everybody on this
Well, we
podcast.
do, we do. It's
Absolutely.
just
Do you, boo? But God, you got to know this city. It is how would you describe Honorville? Because I know how I would because I worked at a Grand Coteau for a hot minute. I have a few choice words for Arnoville.
if you would look online, you would think it's really nice and quiet and like a little neat tucked away place in Louisiana to go get some good Cajun food, but it's just a hot mess. It's all it is. It's a hot mess. And so I think they have one Airbnb in the area and like a
Oh
deep
wow.
restaurant. But yeah, just keep driving when you're going through there. Just keep driving.
Lock your doors, lock your windows, keep driving. Because they'll crawl into your car. Anytime if we were at the station I was working with Ken, the unit phone would ring and they'd be like, "Hey, we got a call in Arnoville." I would look over at Ken and his hands would start shaking and he'd start reaching for his glasses and he's like, "All right, here we go, boys." Switch gears a little bit. You are in dispatch. Hold on. Bella. I gotta use my mom voice a little bit. You are in dispatch now, and you've been doing that for 8 months. How is that? How
It is becoming a lot better. In the last few months, we implemented shift leads on there. So it's me and we have another paramedic. We work opposite of each other. And so we're there at the busiest points during the day. And I think it helps to have that experience in dispatch, um, to who gets what calls and who gets where, like who needs to pull coverage. I think having that experience definitely helps a lot. And I just want to help morale because everybody hates dispatch. Everybody hates dispatch. And so I don't know. I've found it as sort of a challenge. Like I want to see if I can make it better because I know what I would like to have as a paramedic in the field, what type of information I would like to have sent to me. And so that's what I try to do for the crews out there.
do y'all follow the? I don't know exactly what it's called. It's the script, like based on the script that you got to follow based on what the patient is telling you or what your information is being told over the phone, and you follow a script and you categorize the call based on that. Do y'all follow that, or is it just?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the EMD protocols.
Yes, that's the
Medical
one.
Yeah. Yeah. We follow those protocols. So,
How hard is that? Because whenever we get a call and it comes out, we have one person that calls and they know just what to say to get literally they know what to say to get an emergent response because they want to get to the hospital faster. So when that call drops and it's a 26 Charlie, me and my partner are looking at each other. We're like, no, it's not, but we'll go anyways. Light them up, boys. And it's not. How frustrating is that?
it's so frustrating. Being used as a taxi. I've seen it from both ends. I've been used as a taxi from point A to point B, and I've had to take calls where people, can I take my kids? Wait, you got chest pain. What do we do? The
This
kids.
is 911.
And we need to go to the hospital that's an hour away instead of the one that's 30 minutes away. I'm like, you can discuss that with a paramedic when you get there, babe.
I think that's nice.
But
Sounds like somebody else's problem.
uh, yeah, it happens for legal reasons. We still have to record like what they say. We put it in there. But I'm a huge fan of I will send you 3 or 4 paragraphs before you get on that call of like, this is what I heard, this is what I assessed, this is
We
what's going on.
love
Yeah.
that. Yes.
So yeah, I do that for almost every call. Every call I get, I try to do that. And so I'm real big on get as much information as you can. Get a house description. If it's 2 or 3 in the morning, is there any vehicles in the yard or something that the crew can spot from, coming up the road or something? And just little things I think definitely helps the crews. And it's information I would like to have when I'm running calls. So
And I think it also helps whenever you got to call a crew and tell them they got to go post up somewhere, like, hey, you got this transfer. I think it would also help having somebody that's been in my shoes, has been doing this, does this on a regular basis as well, telling me what to do and where to go versus like whenever our dispatcher tells us to do something. And I rag on dispatch, but I say it I was in the same sentence. I could never be a dispatcher. I never want to be a dispatcher, and I never will be a dispatcher. Knock on wood. Anyways, having somebody who's actually done it and has been in my shoes versus somebody who's never even stepped foot in an ambulance telling me how to do my job and telling me what to do. You know?
yes, I agree with that completely. I've ran some calls and or been got some assignments 2 or 3 in the morning, and I found myself wanting to call supervisors and this and that. But yeah, if you get someone in there that understands these people are working, God bless them, 48 hours at a time, or some of them are working 24 hours at a time. You take that into consideration when you're divvying out the 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning PECs and all that stuff. And if a crew tells me they're tired, okay, let's shut the truck down though, because I would rather you get home safe than you hurt your partner or hurt a patient. And so
there's only so much good and chugging an energy drink can do for you for the first 2 hours, and then
yeah,
you're SOL, man.
oh yeah.
And I will say, for anybody that listens that knows where I work, our dispatch is really good about like we have our city crews, and then we have our out county crews. They work 24s. Our dispatch is really good about seeing like, okay, well, this truck has run this many calls during the day. They're on a 24, or some people are on a 48. They haven't slept. They need to get a few hours. We'll send a city crew on this LDT. If something else drops, they'll get it. Our dispatch is really good about that, and I do appreciate that. So you've learned a lot. You've been in this field for a hot minute, and especially on the dispatch side, you've seen things from all ends. You've also you did scheduling before, and I commend you for it, because whenever I did scheduling for like that, what span of it was like a month, I said I'd never do it again, and I never did.
Yeah.
But you've seen it a lot of stuff. You've been through a lot of stuff in this job. What is a piece of advice you'd give to someone either going into EMS or somebody already in EMS, and if it pertains to paramedic school or just day-to-day grind, what is some advice you would give?
So my first thing I would have to say is always be humble. There's always going to be someone out there that knows more than you. Just be humble where you are. Be respectful to the people around you. You may have the big dumb firefighters, but you're going to need them, and you're going to need them one day. I worked a shift the other day where call came in as a lady was trampled by a horse and is now unresponsive. I was like, oh, okay, good. I'm out in the middle of Sabine Parish. So we go and get this lady. She's a healthy lady. And so a good 250 or say 250 pounds or whatever. These men literally picked up my stretcher with the patient on it and carried her across a field. I was like, we got wheels, guys. And they're like, we got her. Carried her across the field for me. Like, what else do you need us to do? I was like, we're good. We're good. But always be respectful to those around you. You're going to meet great doctors. Always just be respectful, take their advice. Um, Even if it's bad advice, just take it, nod, say, okay, thank you, and go back, do your research, talk to your clinical advisors, but just always be humble. And the second thing is every patient you encounter gets a full head to toe. I don't care what call it is, every patient you encounter gets a full head to toe. They're drunk at 2 a.m, give that person a full head to toe. They deserve it. They're calling you, or police are calling you. But
Yeah.
every patient deserves a full head to toe. And so that's one of my big things. And so you hear it on podcasts and stuff all the time. I haven't ran the call, but you find the drunk in the middle of the road and you're like, oh, they just stumbled and fell. You do a head to toe and like, oh, they got a stab wound. Oh, they have a collapsed lung. Oh, there's all this stuff that goes on. And yeah, every patient you get deserves a full head to toe. And so
It's hard if you do your job how you're supposed to do it, and like you're talking about doing a full head to toe assessment, it's harder to be surprised by the things that you already got that you're not going to miss versus if you don't do it and you miss it, then you look like somebody with their pants down in the middle of the ER.
mhm.
Because it's so easy. I listened to a podcast one time and it said that frequent flyers collect patches not because people don't know how to do their job, but because they get lazy.
Yes.
And it's always the calls that are so lowball. And I have been guilty of I've sent a patient completely BLS because I thought this man had the man flu.
Mm.
We drop them off, and an hour later we drop somebody else off, and the ER's like, hey, did you know your patient is septic? And I was like, their vitals were fine. No, they're not. And they're like, no, your patient is septic. Oops.
Mm.
Ooh, it'll wake you up real fast. And the hardest time to be woken up from this kind of, lackadaisical attitude is when you're wearing orange in the jail cell.
Yes.
I don't look good in orange. And it's sometimes, and I'll be honest, it's not always compassion that guides me to be the best I can be. It's, oh man, I don't want to go to court. I don't want to go to court. Who's going to tell my dogs I went to jail? Nobody.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, reflecting on all that you've experienced, all that you've seen, all that you've learned, if you could go back and change it all, would you still take this path into EMS? Yes or no, and why?
I say yes. Um, Things happen for a reason. Sometimes they're out of my control. When I growing up, I never thought about EMS. I thought maybe I could do nursing or something like that. That didn't happen. But I mean, I have really enjoyed EMS. I have enjoyed the knowledge I've learned from it, and it's created an interest in me to seek out more, to find out more. Want to go back to school and I want to do some more with it. I really love the atmosphere that is taught. Um, the community that you get with it. So I definitely enjoy that part of it. And then being able to separate myself from it when I get to, like, you have to learn to set boundaries. Definitely have to learn to set boundaries. But no, I want to believe that stuff happens for a reason. So there was a reason I was in my 30s when I became a paramedic. So that's
Why you gotta say in your 30s like it's so old? You better watch yourself, boy. I'm 30. 30 is the new 20, or so I've been told, and I tell myself.
Absolutely.
Oh, I had something and it's gone. Oh, what is a skill that as a paramedic that you can do that is your favorite? Like, is it starting IVs? Is it possibly doing a needle decompression? Is it setting up a 12 lead? What is something you just really love to do?
I don't know. I definitely enjoyed. I'm sort of a greedy paramedic. Like I definitely enjoy doing it all myself. Like I'll do the 12 lead, I'll set up the IV, and my EMT usually sort of sitting there looking at me. Can I do something? I was like, sorry. I sort of like all of it. I like. I don't know. I have it my spiel when I walk in now, introducing myself. Hey, how can I help you today? I just once you get into a routine of it, it flows, and I really enjoy that. So I think I enjoy the interview process, starting the IVs, doing that. I guess that would be my favorite part.
Throwing lines and taking names.
Yeah.
What is something that if you could go back and tell baby medic Cody, what is something you would go back and tell yourself? Knowing what you know now, knowing what you learned, what you experienced. If you gave a piece of advice to baby Cody as a baby paramedic.
I think I keep going back to the being humble part a lot because that was something I had to learn. Because fresh out of paramedic school, working a high volume truck, like it's a lot of calls. I was like, oh, I can do this. I'm getting good. And then go and run a call where you get an unresponsive person, check their sugar. Oh, it's low. Cancel the helicopter. No, I don't need a helicopter. It's just their sugar. Fix the sugar. And then they start to posture. I'm like,
oh,
get the helicopter back, please.
I changed my mind.
Yeah, can I meet them up the road? They don't have to land on scene. But yeah, just be humble. Yeah, and give everybody a head to toe, every patient. And so
that's good. It's very good. Well, Cody, that's all I got. Is there anything you want to add? Anything you want to tell the listeners?
No, I think that's it. I'm really surprised you got me on here.
Dude, and I'm not just saying this because you're right here and because we pressed the record button, but like, I appreciate you, man. You got me through paramedic school, through the absolute stress. And I remember thinking to myself during paramedic school, I wish I could be as compassionate as Cody.
Oh.
So don't sell yourself short. Don't think that, you never had that. From paramedic school, I remember thinking to myself, I wish I could be as compassionate as Cody. And I also remember thinking, Cody really loves this. I hope I'm like that one day.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
One of the homies, man.
Yeah, we definitely been through some stuff. Yeah, so it's been a cool ride, and I really appreciate you taking the time to get to know me. And it's been great. I really enjoy it, and I'm really interested to see where you go with this PA thing. And so,
Me too.
Congratulations on everything, on the move and the wedding and all that.
Thank you.
And so,
well, it's been a blast. Cody, if that's all you got, that's all I got. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for letting everybody get a little glimpse into who is Cody Rochelle. But that's all I got, and if that's all you got, as we end every single episode. So with that.
The 22 at the Lips podcast is designed to support, not replace, the relationship that exists between a practitioner and his or her medical director. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host, guest, and not necessarily of Master Medics. The information provided during this podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for your approved protocols.